Hello to you all. I've came into Leeds City Centre today to do some open air preaching around the shopping area. I've also thought I would come and take a look at this particular space, which is Victoria Gardens. Now, I've heard that there are some people who desire to use this particular space as a kind of speaker's corner. To use this place a little bit like Hyde Park in London, where people come and speak and share whatever they want to speak about. So I thought I'd come and take a look to see if this could possibly be a potential place where we could hold an open air meeting and come and have a hearing for the gospel. Obviously, when the lockdown is lifted and the sun starts to shine again, it would be good possibly to come down here and do some preaching. So I thought I would come and just check it out for myself. Just to give a bit of an update, just to share a little bit about where we're at in regards to mission and evangelism that we're doing. Well, following on from the last update, you'll remember that I did request prayer for people to pray into the possibility of using missionary stations, a room or a building in and around the area where we hold open air meetings in order to take people to share more of the gospel. And I do believe it's a good idea to do that. However, what I'm finding on the ground is that there is simply not enough people responding positively to warrant even having a missionary station to take people to. I'm convinced that by simply holding open air meetings, good open air meetings with a few brethren down there is absolutely sufficient to handle everything that can happen on that particular day. Generally, there's only handfuls of people who are really showing genuine interest and want to learn more, and I believe we can do that there on the ground. We can use a coffee shop, we can use the public library, or we can just use the space that we're using to sit and to seek to minister more of the gospel to people. We can connect with people, we can give them our website, our YouTube channel, our contact details, and we can begin to work with people on the ground. However, we still do desire to use the cricket pavilion in the village that we're living in and we're serving in, because I think it's a good place to go to pray and to worship and to set our hearts before we go out and do evangelism in the village where we live. You'll remember last time that I did share that we had 2 tracts to give out. Well, we've now delivered those tracts to the houses in our village, and it's wonderful to go around each door and simply post 2 good tracts to each and every person's letterbox, and just realizing that these tracts can potentially be picked up and read, and the gospel is being brought to them. So we're going to continue that work, and we're waiting for 2 more tracts to be delivered to our house, 500 of each tract. That's 1,000 tracts, and then we'll deliver those tracts around and continue that work of delivering tracts. Just in regards to what we have been doing, as you know, since my last update, the 3rd national lockdown came into effect, which again hinders people from going into the town centre. So what we've done is we've continued the work. We have gone into the town centre and we have continued to preach the gospel to them. However, there's only been handfuls of people we've been able to work with. I've preached also in Dewsbury. I visited Dewsbury and preached there twice. I preached in Derby, and I also preached in the village of Grangemore. So we've continued evangelism, we've continued to reach out, and regardless to what happens as we move forward, we're going to continue to preach and we're going to continue to reach out to people. As I came into Leeds today, again, as you can quite imagine, there isn't that many people around. Generally speaking, these streets will be jam-packed with people, and therefore you can preach and you can draw a crowd and you can do a lot. But today it's very it's quite bleak, and there's only a small amount of people on the streets. But we're still going to preach. We're still going to do that work today. Okay, so moving forward, well, we're being told that from the 22nd of this month, 22nd of February, the government is going to come out and they're going to give a roadmap out of the lockdown. I think many people now are crying for the lockdown to be lifted, given the cases are plummeting. So they tell us the cases are plummeting. Hospitalizations are down, deaths are going down, and the vaccine is being rolled out, and therefore we're expecting the government to come out and start lifting restrictions and hopefully allowing shops to open up again, and therefore obviously more people are going to come out, and for me this makes it a much better opportunity to preach the gospel to people. So moving forward, we're going to continue in holding open airs in Huddersfield, particularly Huddersfield. That seems to be an area where we're mainly focusing on, but I also do desire to visit other places. I visited Batley recently and had a look around Batley, and I thought we could do an open air there. Dewsbury, you have a lot of Muslims in Dewsbury, and I've been learning a lot about Islam as well to try to help me to engage with Muslims and preach the gospel to them. And again, I'm here in Leeds today, so essentially holding open airs, mainly in Huddersfield, but also I have a desire to hold an open airs elsewhere. Just some news. Many of you know that I use a website and I use a YouTube channel. Now, I've had lots of good feedback from Christians who have been using the website and who've been using the YouTube channel as well. So it is having an effect. I use it to try to inspire, to equip, and to edify and help Christians in the work of evangelism in their own areas. I had one particular brother from Sunderland who got in touch with me, and he desires for me to go there to preach the gospel there in Sunderland. So I've connected with him, and I have a desire to go there and to maybe do what we do here there in Sunderland, and hopefully equip and strengthen and encourage the brothers there in Sunderland. So I would appreciate your prayers for that. Some other good news as well. There is a gentleman who has came to faith, a guy who's aware of my preaching in Huddersfield. He's connected with some sisters in Huddersfield who are aware of the work that I do, because I work with some of them, and therefore they've been able to put me in contact with this guy, and this guy was ripe to be reaped into the kingdom. So he's given his life to the Lord, and that is just wonderful encouragement. And I wanted to share that there are people who are coming to faith through this work, through this evangelism and mission that we are doing. Fair enough, it's not hundreds of people, it's ones, it's twos, it's threes, but you know, the work continues, and we're believing for more people to get saved, to come to faith as we move forward with the work. So so just leave you with that. I ask you to continue to pray about the evangelism and pray for the lost that we're going to have contact with, and believe God for souls to be saved and to be added to his kingdom.